Alright, so now we're going to take a look at questions or problems involving two reactants who are known. And in many cases, we'll have to figure out which reactant is limiting and which reactant is excess. And the term excess means something that's left over, and limiting means what limits the reaction. Because it's the limiting that controls how much product you make. The excess is just extra, left over. The excess reactant can never control how much product you make. It's the limiting that controls how much product you make. Alright? Now I want to explain this using a question and an example. This is one of the worked examples given. In this question, you've got carbon and SiO2 reacting together. So there are two reactants, carbon and SiO2, forming SiC, sorry. And you're given 40 grams of carbon and 40 grams of SiO2, which means they've given you two knowns, and they want to know the maximum mass of silicon carbide that could be made. So silicon carbide is definitely my unknown, because that's the guy I need to find to make, right? And 40 grams of carbon and silicon dioxide are my what? My knowns. So when I have two knowns, I label any one of them as known 1 and known 2. Because my life will now revolve around step 1 will not be just be finding the moles of the known. In now the step 1 will be finding the moles of both knowns, known 1 and known 2. And step 2 will involve two parts then. So the question becomes a little longer to do. Alright? Alright. So step 1. Now step 1 involves finding out both knowns. And so I want to find the moles of both of my knowns. Alright? So in this case, first known is carbon, and that's mass over molar mass. Mass given is 40 over MR is 12. The 40 over 12 is 3.333 moles of carbon. So that's literally how many moles is my known number 1. Then I'll take my second known, which is known number 2, and whose MR is 28.1 for silicon and 16 times 2 for oxygen. I need the MR for this guy. That's 60.1. And because then I'll do number of moles is mass over molar mass. I've been given is grams, 40. 40 over 60.1 will give you the moles of SiO2. At this stage now, I have found the actual moles of SiO2, which is 0.6656 moles. And I know the moles of carbon, 3.33. Alright? So I know the moles of both reactants. At this stage, it's not just the guy that's more, that's excess. That's important. So I'm going to find out which of these two amounts is really in excess. You just can't look at them and say, hey, this fellow is more, therefore that must be excess. That's not how this works. Just because something has more moles by default doesn't make it excess. And if something has less moles doesn't make it limiting. What you want to find out is, if they were to react in the ratio of the reaction, which of them will be left over? Because the ratio also matters. If the ratio is always 1:1, then obviously the more moles is excess, but it's never always 1:1. So you got to use that ratio also. So I need some space. So basically what I'm going to do is step number 2A. Instead of 2, it's 2 A's and 2 B's. What we're going to do is find which of the two reactants is in excess and which is limiting. Excess means which will be left over. So the other guy is limiting. Okay? Alright. So, which is left over? So now what I'm going to do is look at the ratio between the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the ratio between the two knowns, known 1 and known 2. And the ratio is, the known 1 is carbon and the known 2 is SiO2. So carbon to SiO2 is, their coefficients 2:1. Now if I take this amount, so then you got to choose one or the other. So if I take this amount of carbon, how much silicon would I have needed? Because the ratio is 2:1. If I take 3.33 moles of carbon, I would have needed 1.667 moles of silicon. And that's something that's important, guys. You don't have that many moles. How many moles do you actually have? 0.6656. So 3.33 needed 1.6656. Sorry, 3.33 needed 1.66, but you only had 0.66. That's one way of finding out which is less. You might say, well, I don't have, why didn't I just start off with this guy and see if this is enough? I can do the same thing. So You can either take the known moles from 1 or start off with this fellow, meaning 2:1 ratio. So how many moles of carbon will react with this many moles of silicon oxide? When I do the math, I only get 1.33 moles of carbon. So now I have basically two different ways of finding out carbon is excess. You know why? Because on the right hand side I have carbon left over, and on the left hand side I don't have enough SiO2. You see, it's the same idea. Either or will tell me which is excess, the other is limiting. Right now the left hand side tells me I needed 1.667, but I only had 0.6656, so SiO2 is limiting. The right hand side tells me that this much SiO2 only needs 1.33 moles of carbon, but I actually have 3.33 moles of carbon. So I have, what I have is step 1. I have more than what I need for carbon. That's one way to find out what's in excess, or find the limiting, which is the guy. So either or you have done. So in the real world you'll only do either the left hand side or the right hand side. If I had done this only, I would have realized SiO2 is, I need more SiO2 than I actually have, which would have made SiO2 is limiting, which would have therefore said carbon is in excess. Or if I just start with this side and say, you know what, let's use SiO2 and see what I need, I don't do this. If I don't do this and I only start off with this, I see here, okay, 0.6656 moles of SiO2 would have needed twice as many carbons, that's 1.33. But I have 3.33, more than that. So I have more, I need less. So carbon will be left over. So carbon is excess. So if carbon is excess, the other known is limiting, because whenever you're given two knowns, one is excess and one is limiting. Alright. Now that I found out my limiting, because the game is about limiting, so step 2B, okay, what we will be doing is we will use the limiting reactants and equate that and find the ratio of the limiting known to.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover at Alt Academy, where we break down every A-level concept with the same clarity. Now back to the video lesson.
The unknown. The limiting known here was this many moles of SiO2. So the limiting is the known I'm going to use. The excess is irrelevant to us now. So step 2B now is the ratio of the limiting known to the unknown. So when you have two knowns, it becomes a limiting known. And the limiting known is SiO2. So SiO2 is the limiting, and now I'm going to go all the way up to the equation. And I know the unknown is SiC. So SiO2 to SiC ratio is how much? 1:1. So I'm going to go back down here and say, okay, so SiC is my limiting, my unknown, and the ratio is 1:1. And SiO2's moles, how many do I have? 0.6656, which means how many moles of SiC will I make? 0.6656 moles, of SiC. Now that's step 2B done. Now I do step 3, which is converting the moles of the known to its quantity that I need, in this case mass. So mass of SiC, which is number of moles is mass over molar mass. But for that I need the MR for SiC, which is 28.1 plus 12, 40.1. So the number of moles is 0.6656 and mass we need, and MR is given to us as 40.1, and we solve for M, the small m, which is mass. What do you get? 26.7 grams. So basically this is how much grams of SiC is formed in the whole question. Alright, so let's take a look at another question now. This is another worked example from your notes, and this is about what mass of Al(I3). So aluminum and iodine react according to the following equation: 2Al plus 3I2 making 2Al(I3). This is the reaction given to us, and they want to find the mass of Al(I3). That's your unknown. Alright, and you're given both the knowns. So aluminum becomes known number 1 and iodine becomes known number 2. And you need to find out, first of all, step 1, convert both the knowns into moles. You cannot do this without converting them into moles. So you got to convert known 1 into moles and known 2. Known 1 is aluminum. and I've written that there. So number of moles is mass over molar mass. Mass is 1.35 over molar mass is 27, which is the MR, which gives you 0.05 moles. All right. Then you have the mass of iodine. Step 1 mein hi you're going to find the moles of iodine from the mass of iodine, because iodine is known number 2, I2, right? So for I2 you'll also need the MR for iodine, and the MR for iodine is the AR times 2, which is 2 times 126.9. You get the MR from there. So number of moles is mass over molar mass. Number of mass is 2.534 given to us. Molar mass is 2 times 126.9, which is 2 times 126.9. Just let's write that up for now. And this equates to 9.984 times 10 power minus 3. This is approximately 0.01, but I'll leave this value like is. 9.984, just to bring some complexity. So I have both my knowns. So step 2a, the first part of 2a is find the ratio between my known, the two knowns. So aluminum and iodine are my knowns. Their coefficients are 2 is to 3. So I can just take one of them, by the way. So let's say I say, well, how much iodine do I need from this many moles of aluminum, which is 0.5 to that. So cross multiply and you solve. So basically what this tells me is that 0.05 moles of iodine need 0.075 moles, 0.05 moles of aluminum need 0.075 moles of iodine. Now this amount is greater than what we have. So just doing this tells me that iodine is limiting, because this amount that I have, iodine is excess. So the amount I need of iodine is 0.075. That's the amount of iodine I need to react with this much aluminum. So just by doing this, I figured, hey, but I only have this much this much iodine. So I have only this much iodine and I needed a lot more to react with this much aluminum, which means that the actual iodine is less than what I need. So iodine is limiting and aluminum is excess. That's one way of finding out, using aluminum as my starting point. But I could also have said, you know what? Why didn't I take iodine as my starting point and see how much of aluminum will this need? So this is the part that's what I need for iodine. So clearly here iodine is, from the first part, iodine is limiting. That's clearly obvious according to this method. Yeah. Now I don't have to do the other one. I've already figured out iodine is limiting, so I can continue this. So now my step 2b is the limiting known to unknown ratio. Limiting known is iodine, and because iodine was less than needed, and it's always going to be limiting to the unknown. Unknown is AlI3. So I need to know 3 iodines make 2 AlI3, and iodine is my limiting. So the coefficients is what I put in here. The coefficient of the limiting known and the unknown, 3 is to 2. Then I put the actual mole of the limiting, which is this, is to the product, and I cross multiply and solve for this. Here, once I figured out the excess aluminum, I never needed it. I just use iodine to find this. So this many moles of iodine will produce 6.656 mole times 10 power minus 3 moles of AlI3. So now I have my moles of my product, which is step 2b. And the last part, step 3, is what? Converting the moles of the unknown to what? The quantity you need. So you're going to use number of moles as mass over molar mass, right? And molar mass is given to us. You can find out the molar mass. Al is 27 and iodine is 127.9 times 3 is 407.7. So now I'm going to use the mass over molar mass as a formula. I have the number of moles, I have the molar mass. Number of moles is equal to mass over molar mass. And this gets you m as what? That's the actual mass. So the m value here comes out to 2.71 grams of AlI3. So that's the amount of AlI3 I make from my two reactants given above. Alright. So let me recap. Step 1, you find the moles of both known. Then using the ratio of the knowns, figure out which known is in excess or which known is limiting. Because the guy that's excess, the other guy is limiting. In step 2b, then you're going to use the limiting reactants moles, not the excess. The excess is Zaya. The excess means more than what I need. So if something is more than what you need, you can't use that for calculation. You always ignore the guy that's excess. Once you found somebody's in excess, it's useless. That data is useless. You will use the moles of the limiting to find the moles of the product. In this case, the ratio, say we found the moles of AlI3, and once you know that, you just use the formula in step number 3 to find the mass of the product you need. Alright?
Hey there! If you found this A-level chemistry lesson helpful, why don't you head over to our website altacademy.org, where you can sign up for the full A-level chemistry course. In addition to chemistry, you can sign up for physics, biology, math, or 4 other A-level subjects. Thousands of students have already taken the leap. What are you waiting for?